Thanks a lot for staying with us. So you must have been following COP28, that's the Conference of Parties conference, so to speak, organized by the United Nations. The 13-day conference begins today in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, and of course Nigeria is also going to be among the active players over there. Expectations on President Bola Tinubu, who will also be leading a high-packed delegation there. Of course, some of the major issues there regarding issues of cutting needed carbon emissions, and of course the issue of fossil fuels. These will form part of the main issues for discussion. And in the past minutes or so, we've been speaking with two environmentalists, Philip Jakpo, as well as from our Abuja studio, the MD CEO of MarkPress West Africa, Idowu Salau. We thank you very much, gentlemen, for holding on. Let me come to you, Mr. Salau, and that is, Philip spoke earlier about this loss and damage fund, where at COP27, it was expected, or it was agreed, it was resolved that developed countries will pay about $100 billion now to support initiatives of developing countries, so to speak, and that hasn't been enforced. I just wonder what you make of, these expectations for developed countries to support developing countries. And this time around that another conference is holding, how far do you see this being actualized? Will we get to see this fund established and put to good use by the countries that need them?
Well, thank you. That was the outcome of the COP27, whereby the developed nations were able to muzzle and convince themselves this loss and damage fund for developing countries. And thank God, Mr. President, during his campaigning, electionary campaign, said about, when they asked him about his climate change view, he said, the developing nation, they've caused a lot of catastrophe for us. We are just maybe about 5% is what we are contributing to climate change. They should be the one to champion this, and that was exactly the resolution made at COP27. I believe now what they will do at COP28 is ratification. How this money is going to be utilized, and it's not going to be a free money. I keep telling everybody, it's not going to be a free money. You need to prepare yourself, because the money is in form of grants, bond, loan. So you need to now prepare yourself. How do you access this fund? From the Nigerian side, the statistic given by African Development Bank is that estimated $247 billion in investment opportunity in climate change is what they have maybe allocated, or what they have found that Nigeria will need at an average of $21.5 billion annually in 10 years. So how do we key into this? And the aspect of the mitigation takes 71%. The climate change impact will address sustainable transportation, smart farming, waste management, and renewable energy. So these four sectors are what we should be looking at. We have energy transition. What is our waste management policy that is in place now at national, state, and local government that we will use to attract this fund? These are things we should be looking at. The renewable energy aspect, is it solar? Is it natural gas that we are flaring? And the transportation aspect, how do we reduce emission of carbon from our daily transportation system. These are projects I think could be tailored and be presented for investment in this direction. So I believe, and thank God, the people in the Senate and House of Representatives, which are the legislature, and the executive, if they work together, the instrument of intervention could be put together to make private sector come in and come up with the policy and program that will be used for better utilization of this if they are able to strike a deal at COP28. That's my own opinion.
All right, Philip Jakpo, let's have your own opinion on this. Philip Jakpo, if you can hear me, let's have your opinion on the questions put forward by my colleague.
Hello, Philip. Are you still with us?
Okay, so I think we'll have to
continue with Idowu Salau.
Now, Idowu, looking at all of this now.
I think.
Okay, you're there, Philip Jakpo. Okay, let's have your reaction.
I didn't hear a single thing. I've not been hearing what he's saying. I only hear your question, not what he's saying.
We wanted, some more, clarification on your expectations. You spoke earlier about the loss and damage fund, the $100 billion fund, which, developed countries had somewhat committed to, but, there just hasn't been, is it a master plan now to agree on how developing countries can take advantage? And so this year that countries are meeting again, that parties are meeting again, just what difference would need to be made to get this actualized? And of course, your colleague, Mr. Salau, was saying that this is not exactly a thoroughfare. It's going to come in form of grants. It's going to come in form of conditions and all of that. But how should Nigeria better place itself, so to speak, to benefit from this fund? Hopefully, it gets to be actualized at COP28.
Okay, so what are my expectations? I'll state it clearly. Now, at COP27 in Egypt, the loss and damage fund was established.
Yes.
It was just established. Here in Dubai, with COP28, my expectation is that the fund will be operationalized. So once it's operationalized, then we are ready for business. There's always in the last couple of months, there have been some discussions that yes, it's going to be operationalized and it's going to be hosted by the World Bank. So of course, the World Bank is now going to liaise with different countries, and they are going to look at strategies of ensuring these funds then trickle down. So the operationalization of the loss and damage fund is what I anticipate happening at the end of these talks. That will be a positive one. I also anticipate that developing nations will continue to press the industrialized nations like the United States, China, that are holding back the progress of the climate talks to do more in terms of committing to the $100 billion a year promised during the Paris Agreement discussions. I anticipate that developing nations, especially those from Africa, will be pushing for that. And I also anticipate they will also be advocating for impediments to accessing these funds. There's so much so the funds even the funds that are there are not just for the picking. There are so many encumbrances to accessing these funds. So I anticipate developing nations, and Nigeria should be one of the countries leading the discussion on how to remove all these encumbrances. So it's like giving you something with the left hand in this case, and then trying to ensure that it doesn't get to you. So that's what is happening. And then I expect some stronger language on organizations like the World Bank and other IFIs that are actually the funders of some of these dirty energy projects across Africa. So there's more money going into dirty energy projects than renewables and clean energy projects. So HICOP in Uganda, it's a dirty energy project. Total is funding that, and is disrupting lives and livelihoods. There is Trans-Saharan pipeline. Our own people also have to be serious, because as Nigeria is going to demand, some concessions from the developed nations, just like other countries, we are still prospecting oil in the northern part of Nigeria. So that does not show seriousness. We are prospecting oil, and we see oil is causing a lot of, impact, in the Niger Delta.
But
so
what would have been a better?
order.
What would have been a better option? Because that is even part of the gains, and the mandate of Mele Kyari, who's just been given a second term as heading the NNPC.
What we should be talking about now is that oil revenues have been committed into renewable energy projects. So we start winding down on dirty energy and scaling up clean energy. That is what we're talking about. That's
Right.
what we should be doing now. But like I mentioned earlier, the issue of compressed natural gas is good because it's cleaner energy, not the cleanest form of energy, because like I mentioned earlier, natural gas also emits methane, which is also a contributor to climate change. So we should do more to see the mass transits. We should do more to see the rail lines that will convey more people and make more of us keep our cars at home. Those are the kind of things we want to hear. So it is not like I said, most countries going to the COP now. Unfortunately, some of us lost hope in the COP. Most countries going there now are going to do business. Even the organizer, United Arab Emirates, is only denying that they never planned to hold side meetings where they will broker oil deals. America is going there to broker deals. China is going there to broker deals. India is going there to broker deals. Africans are the ones on the plate who most times are neither here nor there, or if they stand for any position, it is not strong enough because we are already sucked into the industrialization models that the global north has foisted on us. So we must show seriousness. The president, I know, is going to broker deals to bring some investors into the natural gas business. Good. But then, how does that, impact overall on our own, attempts to cut down on emissions? So these are the kind of things, because we are prospecting oil in the north again.
All right, Salau in Abuja, in all of this, how optimistic are you that the solutions proffered from the summit will be implemented, not just by Nigeria alone, but by the African continent?
See, let me first buttress the point Mr. Philip raised about what we can come up with from the COP28. The same Dubai, just last week, is saying they will use the opportunity of COP28 to launch the largest solar farm for electricity production, the largest in the world. And where do they get the money from? From exploration and exploitation of oil, the fossil fuel. Can't we learn from that too, from here? Since we started this renewable energy, how many megawatts have we been able to produce from this energy transition that we said we are looking at? We still have most of our energy being produced through hydro and nuclear power projects, gas. But at the same time, the renewable energy potential is there. The money we are saving from oil, let us start using it. And that's why one of the ministers, I think Minister of Power, I think is trying to move towards that. I met him once before his inauguration, and I was able to advise, I said, Honorable Minister, let us use this opportunity to talk to ourselves. When you go in as a minister, please try to look at the renewable energy potential, and because that area will attract a lot of funds for you to be able to rejig and increase our energy supply to the nation. And I see one of the steps he has taken, because he spoke with, I think when he went to Japan, or no, South Korea, he was able to meet the president of African Development Bank, and was able to attract about it's $250 million US investment opportunity to Nigeria for renewable energy. These are the kind of discussion I want that should happen in COP28. And immediately when he came back to Nigeria, he said he's going to remove all the teaching hospitals from national grid. That's a good one from him. So let's try to see how many aspects of our livelihood that we can remove from national grid using renewable energy. That's the best utilization of this climate fund. And the money is coming from African Development Bank Climate Fund initiative. The same thing, I just advised Lagos State government through a proposal that I sent to them that, come, Olusosun dump site and could give you nothing less than 50 megawatt because that site is already in the city. It's an eyesore. Convert what you have to what will fetch you money. Look for private sector to be able to adapt and rehabilitate that dump site and be producing energy. There's landfill gas there, which you are just emitting every day. And we can use that as a solar farm, as an eco park to produce energy, to even power the street light that we are looking at, that will save for safety and security. And that will reduce the energy that they use. The same thing is happening in Abuja. When Honorable Minister Wike came in, he said Abuja is too dirty, there is no light, there is no this. He needs to come up with project and program that can attract this foreign investment that will be able to, because the problem is that Abuja Disco cannot give him light free of charge because FCDA is owing Abuja Disco millions of naira, and Abuja Disco, being a private sector, they will want to reap their money, so they give power to those who are paying, and that's why we have darkness in Abuja. Why would current government be using generator to be powering our street lights? Now the cost of diesel. So we need to change. We need to think ahead of all this so that we can harmonize our policy and program to be able to attract this fund. That is my own summary.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Idowu Salau. Right. Let me quickly get final thoughts from Philip Jakmo there, especially how Nigeria and the rest of Africa can tap from the opportunities that COP28 is offering. What will be your final submissions in this regard?
I think Mr. Salau has said everything. These are very, very practical things. It's not rocket science. We want to see the president come back. When he comes back, start implementing some of these things. That the discussions are still early, so we don't know what's going to come out from it. But then the little the kind of thing Mr. Salau has mentioned, those are the things. We want to see practical things. It's not enough for all this drama when the COP is approaching. 1, 2, 3 months before the COP, you see a lot of activities going on. Civil government, civil society meetings is happening. After the COP, that's where the problem is. There was a remarkable achievement when the former president came from Glasgow. I was in Glasgow also in 2021.
Right.
He signed the Climate Change Act into law, set up the National Climate Change Commission. That was progress, harmonizing all the relevant ministries. So we want to see the president come back, and then we want to see practicality of whatever is going to be agreed to finally. So that's my take.
Philip Jakmo there and Idowu Salau, we thank you both very much for speaking with us on this crucial issue as COP28 opens in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. Once again, thank you, gentlemen.